There's absolutely going to become a time when I'm just not going to do these videos, man. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, we'll get into last week. To be quite honest, I'm a bit perplexed because obviously the crisis that we're going through at the moment, which obviously I'll go into in a little bit, is it's a lot. I think we had like 10 first teamers out last week. We've now got that. We're down to 8. Obviously, Basuma's back. Yeah, Richarlison's on the way back as well. I believe I saw as well. Sar's still out looking set to be out till January, along with Madison and Manuel Solomon, and there's a few. But like I said, we'll get into that because obviously we do need to for this weekend. We'll start with last weekend, then we'll start at the Etihad. Manchester City 1, Liverpool 1. From what I saw, I didn't really see too much of it because I was at a kickboxing event, so I didn't really get to check out the game too much. I have seen the goals though. Really good goal from Trent Alexander-Arnold, but I heard he got cooked literally all game by Doku. Yeah, it was one of those games where I expected there to be goals. There usually is between these two. Liverpool haven't gone to the Etihad and beaten Manchester City yet under Klopp, I don't think. So that was a given, to be honest. I thought Man City would obviously come out winners here. I was going to go with a 2-1 win. But Liverpool do have that mentality, that siege mentality, and they know how to defend at the moment. And they're only going to get better this season. I think Liverpool are going to be Man City's closest rivals to winning this league. Good point all round. It keeps us in the hunt, at least, of staying in and around the sort of top 4 and not too far behind the leaders at the moment. Sheffield United 1, Bournemouth 3. That was from Bramall Lane. Again, one of those games I anticipated Bournemouth to go and show out. They did. Absolutely battered Sheffield United from start to finish. Bournemouth really do play some good football. I do like the triangles that they play in the midfield as well. Quick transition to the wingers, and Justin Cliver was brilliant last week as well from what I saw. Sheffield United are in big trouble. They just don't have the players in this league as well. You need to have a couple of quality players that know how to do it in this league. They have got a couple, but both of them are in defence. They don't have an attacker that can do it. Midfield is pretty poor. And I don't envisage much from them moving forward. Bournemouth do look in better nick, of course. They've got a style which obviously complements the players, and the players have taken it like a duck to water, it seems. So Bournemouth are looking to climb the table. Really good 3 points for them. On to the City ground, probably the game of the weekend last week. Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 3. Again, a game that was guaranteed goals, so that didn't disappoint. Twice Nottingham Forest led, actually. 1-0, then 2-1. But Brighton, obviously, playing how they play. Brighton are very, very expansive. And I've said it before, Brighton are one of those teams that like to play to the sort of detriment of their opponent. So they would literally find a way to play against every opponent in the league. Chelsea used to do that under Tuchel. They used to literally just to adapt to anybody. And that's what Brighton are doing now. So any team that comes up against them, especially in the Premier League, sometimes in Europe as well, they do know how to adapt. Defensively, they're not looking as solid as they once did. Maybe that's down to Europe. Obviously, doing the Thursday-Sunday rotation, it's not helping them much, but I do like Brighton's style. I do like De Zerbi and what he's doing. And Brighton are just one of those teams. They're just enjoyable to watch. They're constantly on the attack. They like to play free-flowing football, and they got some good players in Ansu Fati and Adingra. Obviously, Evan Ferguson as well, who's going to be a top striker in the years to come. But really good result for Brighton. And Nottingham Forest will obviously stay in the league as well. They gave a good account of themselves. Were a little bit unlucky, if I'm being honest. Burnley versus West Ham. That was live from Turf Moor. Burnley were winning the entire game up until the 86th minute, I believe it was, and then they lost it in the 90th minute. That's just down to mentality. It's a difficult one. I didn't actually watch this game, but from what I saw, and obviously I was keeping an eye out on all the results on the weekend. West Ham, it just seemed that they found the breakthrough at the right moments. Picked their moments perfectly. Obviously, that would be down to the manager and obviously letting the players know as and when to go. We know West Ham are a threat from set pieces. Burnley just didn't keep concentration for the full duration of the game, and that's what costs you in this league. There are very, very, very good players in this league, and they will cost you at every opportunity if you have a lapse, and that's what happened to Burnley again. It seems to be a reoccurring theme with them. It's not the first time that's happened to them this season, especially after taking the lead. So that's something to look at for them. I do envisage something better for them this weekend, though. However, Luton Town versus Crystal Palace from Kenilworth Road. I got a bit of a smile on my face on this one because Luton are my second team this season. Beat Palace 2-1. Big result for them. Really, really good. The Luton are slowly starting to put together a few results now, which is what you need. I think the addition of Andros Townsend and Ross Barkley has paid dividends at the moment. Both literally getting their foot on the ball and literally just making things happen for them. And Luton obviously fighting very, very doggedly also. They do play with a back five. They are an aggressive back five as well. They are constantly in your face. As Crystal Palace found out, that not an easy place to go to Kenilworth Road. We got out there, scraped a 1-0 win, obviously being 10, a man down. But either way, you always know you're in a game at Luton. They did the same thing to Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. So it's not surprising. That's not surprising. It's really, really good to see as well. And I really do hope they stay up. They might actually change my mind in regards to who's going to be going down this season. At the moment, Luton are in a very, very good run of form. And hopefully that continues. Newcastle 4, Chelsea 1. Not a surprising result. I did call this, to be fair. I knew Newcastle would go all out and just hammer Chelsea into the ground. And that's what they did. Obviously, Chelsea had the red card with Reece James, but I don't think that would have made a difference. Newcastle probably still have won the game. Maybe not won it at the scoreline that they did. 4-1 is the final score that they got in the end. But it was one of those games when you go to Newcastle, the crowd are literally like a 12th man. So if you can quieten them down, then you got a better chance of winning the game. Chelsea just gave the game to Newcastle. Newcastle were all over them from literal minute 1 all the way up to minute 90. And they got absolutely slapped. It was an absolute punishment. And Chelsea currently sit on 16 points. I believe they're about 11th or 12th in the league. For a team like Chelsea that spent billions and billions and billions of pounds with that squad, they should be doing a lot better. Embarrassing for them, to be quite honest. And embarrassing for Poch. Chelsea are in action, of course, this weekend. I'll get into their game a bit later on as well. Brentford 0, Arsenal 1. That was the late night kickoff from the G-Tech Stadium. A little bit of a lucky one for Arsenal, to be quite honest with you. I thought Brentford gave a really good account of themselves from what I saw. I think they got nicked a goal again in the very last minute. So that's something that Arsenal are learning to do, is they're staying in games and then obviously nicking goals at the very end. Some would say it's a really, really good quality to have. Others would say it's, luck, depending on obviously what it is you're doing. It's annoying because they've got a know-how now of having to do it. I don't think it will last all season. They will become unstuck. They don't have a striker and their goalkeeper situation is not going to get any better. So I don't see them winning the league. They will be there or thereabouts in the top 4, I believe. But I don't think it gets much better for them. As for Brentford, one of those teams at the moment, you're either going to get a really good Brentford, you're going to get a really bad one. This one last week was a decent one. I know they could play better, to be fair. Ivan Toney, obviously, is a big miss, but I wouldn't say it's just him. They do need a bit more, especially in the midfield areas. They don't have that creativity they did have, obviously, with Christian Eriksen in the team. And I don't know where Damsgaard is at the moment. I think he might be injured. So they do miss a creator in that midfield at the moment. We'll go on to my beloved. I was at the game, actually, last week at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Aston Villa were the visitors. I thought we played well. I thought we played really, really well, actually. I don't think I can fault the performance. Obviously, a couple of lapses in concentration. We had no height in defence. Literally, the guys I was sat with were literally telling me the same thing. No height in defence. Obviously, any balls that come in, they're probably going to win them. But if they are going to win, we need to get to the second balls. We didn't even get to do that. Got bullied for the first goal, their first goal. Pau Torres obviously powering in the header just before half-time. But even before that, we should have been about 4-1 up. So many chances, couple of offside goals. Doggy, if he knew how to finish, that would have been a goal had that been Son running through, for example. Kulusevski is the one for me, though. He needs to bury that. As close as you are, you've bent it round the goalkeeper. You've done everything you needed to do, set it out, and he's literally hit the post. It's frustrating. We played well. But obviously, without the defense is killing us, because guaranteed the games we've lost, we've literally gone in front in every single game we've lost this season. And guaranteed if we had a defence that obviously started the Premier League season, so Romero's back, obviously Van de Ven is in the team, we win those games quite easily, to be quite honest. And now we go to Manchester City this weekend with a depleted defence. So I'm intrigued to see what we do here. It's going to be a both teams to score kind of game, because obviously both teams just score at will. And yeah, it's just Erling Haaland's going to have a field day. I know he is. I'm going to get into that in a minute as well. Everton 0, Manchester United 3. A little bit of a shock result here, but one of the goals of the season was scored here. Alejandro Garnacho with an overhead kick. Really good goal, to be fair, if I'm being honest. He probably won't do anything else this season, to be fair, but he'll live off that for a little while. I thought Man United were excellent. I don't really say much about Man United with regards to that, to be fair. Excellent and Man United in the same sentence don't seem to make sense to me. But Man United at Goodison were excellent. Really, really good. Everton was shocking. I expected a lot more from them, especially at home. Yeah, a Sean Dyche team got easily opened up like that. It's very, very uncharacteristic. Everton went at the races. Midfield completely split open. Bruno Fernandes was literally running the show. Anthony Martial on the score sheet. Obviously, Rashford got a penalty. Yeah, one of those games you expected a little bit of a tighter contest, but Man United blew them out of the water, which is unexpected. I did not expect to hear that or see that, to be quite honest with you. And then the Monday night football was Fulham 3, Wolves 2. Again, another fantastic game. One that I had down as a draw. Wolverhampton are getting the full brunt of it at the moment, though, with VR decisions going against them. I think they've lost about 7 points now, just because of that alone. And it is costing them. I thought Wolves gave a good account of themselves and probably should have left the game with something. I thought Fulham were very lucky to get out there with 2 penalties. The last penalty wasn't a penalty for me. But again, that's not down to my interpretation. It's obviously down to what the referee sees and what the referee's obviously been told by VAR. But I think it was the wrong decision. But again, 3 points for Fulham, very, very valuable. They needed those 3 points because they haven't had the best start to the season. Wolves, we know, have been really, really good. But just came unstuck at this game, which is a little bit of an annoyance for them. But I'm pretty sure things will get better for them moving forward. So we'll come on to match week 14 now. We're already now sort of almost halfway through the season already. So this is where all the serious stuff happens. Christmas obviously being here. This is when the business end of the season starts to pick up now. So we'll start with the first game today. All games are 3 o'clock today, by the way. And then we've obviously got a game later on today at 5:30. And then one later on tonight at 8 o'clock. So the first game today is Brentford versus Luton. That is live from the G-Tech Stadium. I'm going to go with a Brentford 2-1 win here, only based on the fact that Brentford are at home and Luton have not travelled very, very well. I think they picked up a win at Everton and they picked up a draw at Nottingham Forest. Other than that, I don't think they've picked up any other points away from home at the moment. I'm just trying to go through. I don't think they have. If they have, let me know. I might have missed one. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 Brentford win here. Arsenal versus Wolverhampton. That's from the Emirates Stadium. This one would depend on what Wolves team show up. Obviously going to be without Lemina. Mario Lemina's out today. So he won't be in the midfield for Wolverhampton. And we know he's very combative and he likes to obviously press forward. I think it's a really, really big game for Matthias Cunha today. But I do think Arsenal will win this. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 Arsenal win at the Emirates. Burnley versus Sheffield United from not Bramall Lane. They're at Turf Moor today. I think Vincent Kompany gets a win here. I think Burnley are going to take this 2-1. But it's going to be one of those tight games. And Sheffield United might score first. And then Burnley will obviously rally in the second half. And I do have Zeki Mdouni to have a shot on target in this game as well. Nottingham Forest versus Everton. That is from the City Ground. That is today at 5:30. I'm going to go with a Nottingham Forest 2-0 win. I'm basing this on the fact that Everton was so poor last week. And Nottingham Forest do score goals for fun at home. And they do actually have one of the best records in the Premier League. I think they've lost 3 games since the start of the year, which I think that puts them in the top 4 for home form. And I'm going to go with a Nottingham Forest win based on that as well. This evening, Newcastle versus Man United under the lights at St James's Park. It's going to be a long night for Man United, I think. Obviously, are in better form, but Newcastle are in the form of their life at home at the moment, especially in the Premier League. After what they did to Chelsea last week as well, I will probably go with a Newcastle win here, and we're going to go 2-0 on that. Tomorrow, we've got Chelsea versus Brighton. That's live from Stamford Bridge. Brighton do like to travel away, especially at Chelsea. I think Brighton have picked up a few points at Chelsea actually recently. And I see Brighton picking up points here again against them. Chelsea will have a goal, I believe. I think they do score, but I think Brighton score more. I'm going to go with a Brighton 2-1 win at Stamford Bridge. That game might be good for a bet of both teams to score. 2 shots on target each team and 2 corners as well. Each side in both halves. So I might opt for that to do as well. Liverpool versus Fulham from Anfield. That's a Liverpool win for me. I'm going to go with 3-0. Mo Salah to be on the score sheet for me there. West Ham versus Crystal Palace from the London Stadium is 1-1 draw written all over it for me, to be quite honest. West Ham obviously competed in Europe this week. Crystal Palace don't necessarily seem to have a goal scorer, but they do find goals from midfield. I think Michael Elise might be back. So, yeah, I do see a couple of goals in this one. Point apiece, West Ham 1, Crystal Palace 1 as well. Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. That is from the Vitality Stadium. Aston Villa obviously going great. Won again in midweek as well. I think Bournemouth might do a job on them. I'm going to go with a sneaky 2-1 win Bournemouth on this one, based on the fact that Aston Villa might be a bit tired and it is on the south coast, and Bournemouth do look like they're getting back into form at the moment. We'll go with Bournemouth 2-1 win there. And then the biggest game of the weekend this week is obviously my beloved. We go all the way to the Etihad against Manchester City with no defence. It's not often I say this about us, but I think we're going to lose this game. I'm going to go 4-2 Man City. It's the same result that happened last season at the Etihad as well. We scored 2 in the first half. We're winning 2-0, and then they absolutely battered us in that second half. And I think it'll be something similar. We're going to go at it. Andrew's already said he's going to go at it same way, same philosophy. Defense is not going to hold out. That defense is not good enough. We haven't got defenders, obviously, at the moment that can do it. Ben Davies is not a centre-back. Emerson Royale is not a centre-back. Eric Dyer is not a centre-back. Eric Dyer is not a footballer. It's going to be a long one for me. I'm still going to watch it though, and I hope that we get something. I do hope that we can obviously try to attack as much as we can and actually put away the chances that come our way. But I just think Man City are too much going forward, and I do think we'll come unstuck there. So I'm going with a 4-2 win to Manchester City. That's my video this week. So thank you very much for watching. Try and share this video. Obviously, leave as many comments as possible. I do like to obviously discuss the game, so obviously if you can do that, that'd be brilliant. The next match day is Tuesday the 5th. So I may actually do one on Monday, potentially. I might do one on Monday. That would be the next video, or I might do one sort of next week, and then obviously do sort of, I might do it sort of match day 16 and then obviously do match day 15 results during that video. Undecided, but you'll definitely get a video from me in the next week anyway. And yeah, we'll obviously discuss some more. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy the games, be safe. It's getting cold now, so wrap up warm, and I'll speak to you soon in a bit.